Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review, and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today, I have another book haul for you. So, last month, I did a book haul because I got the book from Page and Wick, and I really wanted to open it, but I was like, seems a bit of a waste not to open it up on the channel. So, I thought, well, I'll just open it on the channel, and I've got a couple of books, so I'll do like a mini book haul. And now I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books that have come into my house in like the last 3 weeks. So normally, just for info, I don't really buy books very often. I try to go to the library to get my copies. If I can't library, sometimes I go to Kindle and read them there. But what's happened was, while some of these books are library books, and I was gifted a fair number of them, I also bought a few, and really it's just a very odd coincidence, because this is probably, so there's 10 books here, right? 8 of them were, 2 of them are library books. So if you think about those two, ignore the 2 library books, 8 books is probably more books than I would normally buy in like a quarter. That's changed a little bit at the moment because of Wheel of Time, where I'm buying every single one of those because I want to keep them as I feel like with how much I'm loving this series now and how people say they feel after they have finished it, and also how rewarding people say rereads are, I'm like, I think this is a permanent collection kind of thing. Like, I want this for the permanent collection. So I've got here multiple books. Let's talk about the library books first. So I've got 2 books here that I got from the library that I wanted to read in the near future. So this one I got completely on a whim when I went to get the other one, which is The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. So I know basically nothing about this book, and that's how I like it, as you guys know. Really awesome cover on this one. Just love the visual, love the colour. The reason I picked this one up is it was basically next to the book that I'm going to show you guys in a minute, on the rack in the library, and I have seen so many people who are loving the sequel to this book that they have got as an ARC. So review copies for this for the sequel are floating around, and people are absolutely loving it. And I was like, well, maybe that's a sign that I should read the first one and then be ready to read that second one. And also, it's like 350 pages. As you guys know, fantasy books are usually pretty long, so it's really nice to have a shorter book. I've got a few short books in this list, and that's mostly because as well, I'll be doing SPFBO judging, supporting Philip Chase later this month. So I just kind of want to make sure that if the SPFBO books become quite overwhelming in terms of volume or length or whatever, I've got some short books as like swap ins and outs. And while these are from the library, you can renew them 10 times as long as no one else wants them. So while I probably won't read this one in May, hoping to read this one in June, and I just kind of picked it up on a whim. If I have to return it, I have to return it. But I also own the Kindle copy of this. I just prefer to read physically when I can. Okay, I had to make a little edit there because I was staring at my bookshelf while we talked, and I realised that I have an 11th book that I've bought that I didn't get out to show you guys. So we're going to carry on though with the library books, and I will tell you what book 11 is when we get to it. So, The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. This book is one that has been recommended to me so many times, and this isn't just one that I've seen as people say, like, this is my favourite book of the year on, like, their booktube videos. I've had friends go, like, you should read The Book That Wouldn't Burn. I know Philip Chase said this was his #1 read of 2023, and Laura from Hardy's Books has been reading this and saying that I need to read it. Mare also loves it. I mean, Maya loves a lot of books, but the books that she loves, I think every single one she's recommended I've really liked. So I feel like this is a potential slam dunk. As you guys know, I had it on the TBR for April. As expected, when I talked to you guys about the April TBR, it's very, very unlikely that I finish it. So I'm not even halfway into the Shadow Rising yet. And the next book I have on the schedule is also like an 800-page chunker. And we're not, we have like 10 days of April less. So unlikely I'm going to finish like 1,400 pages of reading in 10 days. I might finish, I probably will finish the Shadow Rising. And I'll probably finish that by the end of this week. But the next book I have up, which is Demon in White, which we'll talk about later. So I have that one's also, like I said, it's just a long book. And I've been away all weekend, and I was away all last weekend. And then the other issue is that I'm not feeling particularly well. So I had actually set aside today, I booked it off work, and I was like, right, I'll spend the day reading and making content, and I'll make a huge dent in the Shadow Rising. But I've just not been able to concentrate on reading. I've got a bit of a headache, and you know how it is. Content creator, obsessive reader problems. Next book. So this is not, I'm not going to be showing you guys the books as I received them in chronological order or anything like that, because I have just completely forgotten when I got them all. But I know that I haven't shown you guys this one on a video yet, which is Return to Adan by my booktube friend Philip Chase. Don't know why I paused there. I do know Philip's name. I didn't have to look at the spine to find out. So this is the final book in the Adan trilogy. An absolutely lovely big floppy American trade paperback. This I'm really excited to read this one. All the reviewers and the kind of the discussion around this book has been that this is the most experimental and the most interesting of the Adan trilogy. And I thought that the second book was pretty interesting and surprising and experimental. So I'm really excited to see what's kind of going on with our characters. I'm excited to see where this ends. Yeah, I just, Philip's been such a good friend to me over the last few months as I've been working on this channel. He's invited me to join his SPFBO team. I was on a live stream with him the other day, and you'll if you watch back that live stream, you'll probably notice me getting slowly more and more starstruck as like much bigger and massive booktubers that I've been following for years, like Murphy Napier and Mike's Book Reviews, all joined the stream. And I left the stream actually so that Murphy could join. And I was just like, oh my God, there's so many people here. It was wild. I'm really looking forward to this one. As you guys know, I have been trying to commit to reading more self-published stuff and trying to read one self-published book a month, which I'm pretty certain I have done. But this is one of the best self-published books that I've read, this series. So really looking forward to reading this one as well. Okay, next one on the pile. I'm trying to organise the pile so they don't fall over each other. Right, here's one. So I have talked about, I made a post, not a video, but a post of that I had bought this book. And this is Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erickson. So why did I buy this book when I am currently reading a 15-book series? And I said, I'm not going to buy or start reading any book series that are more than trilogies. That was my rule. I was like, no fantasy series, because sci-fi doesn't count. I don't want to get too tangled up and confused by having multiple very long running book series. So I bought this, which is the first volume in a 10-book series. But I bought this because I really want to get the Malazan Broken Binding editions, but they are really expensive. They're like £50 a book, and you have to buy them in packs of 3 for 150 quid, which is a lot of money for 3 books. But if it ends up being one of the best book series of all time, which like basically every booktuber that I trust says that this is their favorite series, kind of makes me feel like I should go for those books. But I want to at least have read this before they go on sale at the end of June, so that I know whether there's a potential that I will love it and it will become a favourite. But that's the idea, which is why also, so you'll notice this is a pretty battered and beat up copy. I just bought this in secondhand bookshop, ordered it from a secondhand bookshop, and it does smell quite bad, which is fun. I just wafted a very kind of synthetic-y smell. Anyway, it doesn't have new book smell is what I'm saying. Nail polish, that's what it smells like. It smells like nail polish. So that's fun. But I will be reading this, and I think that I will probably read this in June, because then it will be like fresh on my mind as to whether I want to buy that £150 set of books. And then they're going to do, each book will be, I think they're going to be like a quarter in between each pack of books. So there's time for me to save back up. So that's Gardens of the Moon. But while we're on the grimdark fantasy trade, I want to show you something which is pretty cool, which is a book that only 100 copies of exist in the world, apparently, according to the letter that came with it, which is the physical arc for In the Shadow of Their Dying, which I know says Time to Kill on the front, but it is In the Shadow of Their Dying, by, I've lost the names of the authors in my head. I know it's Anna Smith Spark and Michael Fletcher. Yes, Michael R. Fletcher and Anna Smith Spark. So, one of them's from, Anna Smith Spark's from London. That's nice. I'm from London, technically, originally. This is a extremely grimdark novella. It was actually produced by Grimdark magazine, even. That's how grimdark it is. And I won this in a competition on Andrew Watson's Discord. So, no, not Discord, just his YouTube channel. But yeah, so I won this copy. Pretty excited to get to read this one. It's a fun novella. There's lots of cool art. Like the art on the cover is really good, and then there's some inside. Really looking forward to reading this one. Andrew liked it on his channel when he did like a reading binge video. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun. Next up, you guys are going to love this one. I know how popular the Sun Eater series is, and look at this. Absolute behemoth. It's massive. It's bigger than thicker than every book here, including Return to Adan. So it's an absolute behemoth. We're talking, it's 700, let's see when the story finishes. The story finishes around 740 pages. But also you may have noticed, look at that, look how floppy that paperback is. I ordered this from Amazon, just like I needed a copy of this book. And when it arrived and it was this floppy, I was so excited. I went into my wife and I was like, look at this. Look how floppy it is. Look, it even hangs open. My favourite thing. Yeah, I get excited about floppy paperbacks. Sue me. Don't sue me. I don't have any money. I spent it all on floppy paperbacks. So this is the third Sun Eater book. I've read a lot of Sun Eater because I read all the short stories and novellas. I think this is the third book. I'm sure it's the third book. So this is the third book. I know some things about this book simply because they are referenced in Queen Amid Ashes, which I've read. Really looking forward to reading this one. I'm literally reading this. This is the next book I'll read as soon as I finish The Shadow Rising. So it's going to have a hard act to follow. As you guys know, I have been up and down on the Sun Eater stuff. And I think that I might be one of the harsher critics on this book series on BookTube, because most people seem to give them pretty unanimous praise. I do really like them, and I gave Howling Dark 4 stars, I think. But I feel like maybe there's something that I'm looking for that hasn't kind of come around yet. Yeah, I'm excited to read this one, and it will be really nice as a bit of a break, because I've read by mistake 3 fantasy books in a row, and I almost always try to vary the genre from one to the other so that my brain does get that bit of a break. So looking forward to reading some sci-fi and to be starting that pretty soon. I don't know how quickly I'm going to read through The Shadow Rising, because as I was saying, I've been having a bit of... I've not really been able to read much over the weekend because I've been away. And then when I came back last night, I basically just collapsed and went straight to bed. And now tonight, we'll see how much I can read of Shadow Rising. But I would like to start this before I do my weekly update video on Friday. So, yeah, I guess you guys will have to sit back and wait and see whether I get to it by Friday or not. Let's talk about the next books that I'm going to talk about. Are 3 books. They're a trilogy. I'm just going to talk about them all at the same time. This is the Area X trilogy. So this is by Jeff Vandermeer. It is a kind of a weird, kooky sci-fi sort of thing. The movie Annihilation with Natalie Portman, that was on Netflix in the UK, but in cinemas in the US, was based on this book, Annihilation. Murphy Napier recently did a video that made me go like, oh, I really want to read this series, where she called Annihilation like one of her favorite books of all time, and then she was like, the sequels are very good, they're not as good, but they're still worth reading. Yeah, I saw this whole trilogy for sale for like £10, and I had been planning to buy the Area X anthology that has all 3 in one, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll just go buy that. And then I saw this for £10 about the same time that I heard that Vandermeer is writing a 4th book, and so I don't want a bloody anthology and then there's a 4th book just hanging out next to it on the shelf. That would really annoy me. So I have bought this edition. I don't imagine that this will be the edition that they use for the next book, because I think they've now done a new cover design. But also, I just really like these simple, kind of really high colour covers. So yeah, really like these ones. I love the fake stickers on these 2 books are the sequel to Annihilation, which is now a major film. So that's dumb. But I'm looking forward to these books. The concept of them is essentially that one day a like bubble of I guess like weirdness or whatever, like a bubble of like energy just appears in America, and everyone who goes inside the bubble either doesn't come out, or if they do, they like kill themselves or go mad, basically. And this is about the story of the main character, who I believe has no name in book 1, and she is sent into the Area X as one of the as like a biologist, I think. And it's just kind of about what she finds there and what happens to her. And then the sequel books are kind of follow-ups, and they have kind of different themes and ideas. But yeah, looking forward to reading this one. I really loved the movie Annihilation, and the fact that Stephen King has given a cover quote of creepy and fascinating has me very intrigued, because Stephen King's a great writer and he knows creepy. Next up, we have a book that I've actually already read. And this isn't one that I've read like since buying it or anything like that. This is a book that legitimately I read last year, and it is Harbinger of Justice by Andrew Watson. So you guys know that I really enjoyed this book, and that I'm a big fan of Andrew's YouTube channel and of his Discord as well. I mean, his Discord is very good, and I actually met Andrew last week as I was on a trip to Scotland, and I said to him like, "Hey," and obviously, we did our interview, so it wasn't like me just randomly coming up to him and being like, "Hey, let's have a pint." But we'd done an interview together, and we got on really well. And I said to him, "Hey, do you want to hang out? Maybe we can, do a video or something fun like that." But what actually ended up happening was we just spent like 2 hours chatting about books and BookTube, and I completely forgot that we could have done some content or anything like that. But also, I have got maybe the only ever one a signed and personalised paperback from Andrew. It's going to go pride of place on my self-published bookshelf. Really happy to have this one. The paperback actually randomly went on sale, which is why I picked this one up. I was thinking about getting the hardback, but actually all of my indie books, all of my self-published books are paperback. So I was like, well, at a certain point, you've got to follow what you've already been doing. Self-published books, I feel, are really ahead of the curve in that when they launch, they most often will launch with a hardback and a paperback. Really excited to have that one in the collection. And Andrew gave me a little, told me a few bits and showed me some stuff from the future books in the series. I won't spoil anything. I will let him reveal all. Pretty excited to keep reading the Shadowbinders saga. I don't know whether it's a trilogy. Andrew, you can tell me, is it a trilogy? I don't know. I think it might be a trilogy, but whatever it is, I'm excited to read more Shadowbinders books. I think the world that Andrew's created is really cool, especially just this kind of desert, kind of ancient Egypt inspired world building and society, rather than what we're used to in other books, which is just kind of like medieval Europe. And in fact, as we talk about Europe, I want to talk about a book that has a very European theme, a Roman theme, The Will of the Many by James Islington. So you've probably heard me complain about the price of hardback books, brand new hardback books. And I am still out here to do that. And I'm still out here to tell you that brand new hardback books being £23 feels insane to me. But I purchased The Will of the Many from a company called Awesome Books that sells new books at a discount. I'm very excited to read this one. As you have probably seen, there's literally nothing on the hardcover. It's a nice spine though. As you've probably seen from every other single booktuber in the world, because I'm the last one to read it, people absolutely love this one. I think that if you watch Matt's Fantasy Book Reviews, and he did this video that I was part of actually, that was like, what's your number one release of 2023? And basically like half of the people said The Will of the Many. So I was like, well, obviously I have to read this. And then a few of us on Andrew Watson's Discord said we would read it together. And I also did say to Rebecca Nicole from Reading with Rebecca Nicole if she wanted to do like a spoiler chat with me. So I'm going to try and read this one soonish so that Rebecca and I can have a chat, because I think she's finished it already. But as I've said before, my April has been mental, and I don't imagine life is going to slow down all that much in May, because it's my birthday that month. So a lot of things tend to happen, like family events and all that sort of jazz. Maybe I'll be able to do another book haul if I get some more books for my birthday. Hopefully. I do love books. So yeah, this is the last book on the book haul. So Will of the Many is a Roman-inspired fantasy story, which apparently has the kind of magic school trope. All of this sounds great. Looking forward to reading this one. Everyone's raving about it, especially, as I've said before, my tastemaker, Mare, from Andrew Watson's Discord, who basically everything she's told me to read and tried to bully me to read, I have absolutely loved. So I'm hoping the trend continues with the last book in the book haul, The Will of the Many. And yeah, I resigned myself to having to buy a paperback because the paperback doesn't come out until the summer. It's not available in my library system for some reason, even though it's a massively popular, traditionally published book. So God knows what's going on there. But I splashed some cash and I purchased myself a copy. And I'm excited because I would like to read it. And now I have a hardback. That means that I can get the hardback of book 2 when it comes out and be part of the conversation as the book releases, rather than waiting for it to either hit the library or paperback or whatever, or buying a Kindle copy. But I do like having a physical book to read from. Anyway, that's been a rather rambling book haul. I hope that you enjoyed looking at these 11 books. I haven't talked about any of the digital purchases that I've made, but I have spent a lot of money on 99p Kindle books in the last month or so, because I signed up for the Kindle Daily Deals email, and you know, my Kindle library is absolutely overwhelming and fit to bursting, essentially, at this point. So yeah, it's been a really good book hauling time. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have read any of these books, drop a comment down below and let me know which one is your favorite. If there's any books here that you're planning to read soon, and you think I should prioritize them so we could all read them together as a community, let me know. The one caveat I will say is that I don't know how much control I have over my reading in May, June, July, etc., because of SPFBO stuff. I think I have 6 books to read, and I have to read them between June and September, so 2 a month basically. I think that that's how I will plan it, and I will basically pick 2 at random each month. Or maybe you guys can vote. That could be fun. I could do a vote or something in the YouTube posts. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will speak to you tomorrow.